Welcome back to The Person Everyone Needs. I am your host, Webb Hoggard, and today I want to talk to you about a personal principle that I have that I've always kind of lived with, at least in my adulthood. I came to the point where it seems like everybody has a pretty strong opinion about everybody else. I live in a small town. It's simple for everybody to have a story on everybody else around us. And so from time to time, I'll be in a conversation where I mention somebody and I'll get an eye roll, or I'll get somebody to be like, well, you don't know, all about that person. And I get pinned in a corner to decide whether or not I'm going to believe this person's opinion or their story or their experience. They say it in such a way they're trying to warn me or that kind of thing. And I'm easily warned. I don't mind that at all. I appreciate when people are trying to help me and talk to me about that. But I have chosen in my adulthood to never treat someone based on someone else's grudge or their experience. I cannot take up the offense of another party and so mistreat or treat differently someone that I have not experienced the same. Let me say it positively for a second. Just because you tell me someone's trustworthy doesn't mean I'm going to trust them. Trust has to be earned. Now, if you've earned my trust and you tell me that, then I'll take it into account. But the truth is, I'm still not going to trust someone just out of being told to do so. The same thing is on the other hand. If you tell me not to trust somebody, I'm not going to just take your word at that. I'm going to be cautious. I'll be mindful. I'm thankful for the information given to me, but I'm not going to join in agreement on preconceived ideas that I have or join in agreement with the experiences that you have. And sometimes that comes across to people as I'm not very loyal or I don't care what they think. And it's sad. I don't ever want to come across like the person that I'm talking to is not valuable. But I have had to make it a principle for myself because it seems like every room I walk into, I'm supposed to dislike or distrust another person, another group. Every single day, it seems like there's a new person that I'm supposed to not like. And maybe I just don't have a long enough memory to remember all these things. So I've decided that until they mistreat me in this way, I'm not going to treat them the way somebody else wants me to. I remember this specifically about when I was a kid. There was a family member that I just loved. They adored me. They took care of me. There was always like great memories I had with them. And as I got older, some other family members were letting me know, like, this person is not as sweet as you think they were. And I was a little bit shocked because I'd never experienced that. And so I went for a little time and I just completely agreed. Oh, well, maybe you're right. You must be absolutely correct because if that's your experience. So I kind of distanced myself a little bit. And what I ended up realizing is that the people who had told me these things, they still were able to maintain a relationship even though they were talking negatively. I had cut off relationship in order to believe this person, and they had done nothing to me to deserve that. So I have just made it a decision in my life. Number one, I'm not going to take somebody else's word about somebody else being a bad person or a negative person. I'm not going to stay away from people because other people want me to stay away from them. I'm not going to treat them differently because somebody wants me to treat them differently. I'm going to treat them the way Christ would want me to treat them, and that is no matter until there's a circumstance that treats me otherwise, which I think in the church sometimes we get this mixed up. Listen, if somebody treats you badly, it is not Christ-like to give them the opportunity to do so again. We don't sit there and constantly take abuse from people who obviously do not appreciate us at a high level. No, it's wisdom to distance yourself or not allow them into a place where they can harm you a second time. I just think it's very clear that we shouldn't take one another's grudges. We shouldn't take one another's offenses upon ourselves. In fact, we should be very careful when other people are offended by others. We should be careful because it might not be too long before they're also offended by you. In this decision, there's a few things that I have stated as a principle for myself that just helps me. First of all, I don't read letters addressed to me that are not signed. I don't let anybody just come and give me information in my life. And some people think that everybody's information is important. They're really not. So there's some people in your life that you should just not allow in there, especially if those people are not courageous enough to give you their name. I'll say the second thing too. There are just some people in your life that you don't need to listen to anymore. Their input to your life is unnecessary and unwelcome. Now, that needs to be based in experience and not by hearsay. You don't need to cut somebody out of your life because somebody says they were talking about you. You need to know this thing. You need to know that, and I'm not telling you to trust this person until they've earned that trust, but I am saying don't distrust this person until they've given you a reason to do so. It's just my recommendation. I'm not a counselor. I don't know all things, but this is just the way I handle my life. I think this is very helpful. After my conversations with Victor last week, I think this is a principle that I've learned in my adulthood that may be well served for younger people. So I'm doing what I can to encourage you in this direction. So I just told you one rule I have is that I don't read letters that are unsigned. Let me tell you something else I do. When I'm in a meeting, if somebody comes to the meeting and says, well, somebody said, blah, this, that, and the other, or, there are people talking. Years ago, I was in a leadership class, and Dr. Rutland made the comment that when we're in a leadership position, we don't have invisible armies. You don't get to come and say people are saying, or some people are irritated, or there's a lot of people that think this, or a lot of people that think that. If those people don't have names, then I don't consider it. And that's not because I'm not considerate. It's because someone who's willing to stay in the shadows and not allow their name to be connected to their comment is someone who is not courageous enough to stand up when it matters anyway. And I've heard people say, well, there are some people that are afraid of you. Well, if you're too afraid to tell me to my face what I need to know, then I don't know how your opinion or your why that consideration needs to be made. Hey, and if you're hearing this right now and you're like, man, this guy is a jerk. Hey, maybe I am. I've just decided for myself that if you can't tell me to my face or tell me in some way and let me know that it came from you, what I need to know, if you want to tell me through back channels, if you want to tell me through sarcasm, as a lot of people do, if you want to tell me through a snarky attitude, something, I'm not going to pick up on that as something I need to pay attention to until you are able to say with your own words, this is how I feel, this is how I see it, this is where you need to change. And then we can move on to addressing that thing. I'm not saying I'm going to change every time that happens, but I'm just very careful not to overly try to figure out what somebody is hiding within their cryptic messages. If you're hinting at something, just come out and tell me. Treat me as if I'm dumb enough not to pick up on your hints, because the truth is I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Not just you, whoever it is I'm talking about, but I am always attempting to give somebody the benefit of the doubt because I want that given to me. I treat others the way I want to be treated, and I don't want everybody in my community to believe everything that's said about me. I mean, my Lord, I don't know how I would have any relationship if the things that are said about me were believed by everyone who heard them. And so I don't want to do that to others. And so I'm encouraging you that as a life principle, I wouldn't believe every story told you, every experience someone had, or every perspective. A lot of times people discuss an experience they've gone through because of a wrong perspective they have, or maybe not wrong, maybe just a different perspective that they had, that they were dramatically hurt, harmed by someone, and the motive of that other someone may not have been at all malicious. In fact, sometimes there are even terrible scars that are dug in by people who are innocent. But that doesn't mean those scars aren't there, and it doesn't mean that person was any less, a problem in this situation. All it means is that in every circumstance, I do all that I can to leave my heart, my hands, my eyes open to treating each other better. So I just decided in my adulthood that one of those principles that I have in my life, I'm just not going to hold somebody else's grudge. If in all the other things I said there, you're like, I don't know if I believe with all that, then maybe that's just the way I want to encourage you today. Forget all those other things and just hear me say, don't take other people's grudges. That's not what it means to be a good friend. They may say that. They may say, if you don't do that, then you're not loyal to me. It doesn't matter what they say. That's called manipulation. The truth is, you don't have to pick up someone else's offense in order to be close to them. Just be close to them. Treat the other people the best you can. Treat them the way you want to be treated. Be kind, be compassionate, all that you can. But be with the people who are hurting and decide that you're not going to mistreat anybody else because they want you to. I don't carry others' grudges for them. I do what I can to hear them out, and then I know that eventually they'll probably heal, and I won't have anything to say I'm sorry for on the other side if I don't mistreat someone based on someone's experience. A person who is unmoved by the demands, expectations, or manipulation of friends, that's a person that everyone needs.